how appropriate. And I've got MCIK's logo up there too. Hey, what's up you guys, it's Rob from The Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Daily Grind, I have a canker sore on my tongue. What is this? Regardless, we are going to put the pain aside, and we are going to talk about our go-to warframes, weapons, and loadouts. It's not going to be something too intense, because you guys know that I pretty much bring Loki along whenever I just, like, I don't know what's going to happen today. Let's just use Loki for everything. And the big reason that I actually thought about this was because I finally got my hands on my new chair. It's not anything fancy, got it on sale too, surprisingly, but it is super comfy as fuck. And I was like, you know what, let's just chill out today, let's do something comfortable. And I was like, let's talk about things that we're comfortable with. And one of the biggest things that I think that we all have is our go-to warframes and weapons. And I know that many of you have probably just seen these in passing, maybe seen it on the stream, and you'll see that I reach for certain things. And a part of this video that I wanted to make was kind of like to have a little bit of an open dialogue to see what your go-tos are. Now, as you guys know, Loki has definitely been one of my go-tos for a long time. There's been a lot of things that kind of like, I just love him for. Like, I have 3 different builds for him. As you guys know, this is my stealth build. So whenever I'm trying to do stealthy things, whether they're like spy missions or whether they are rescue missions, and actually if we do rescue missions, this is like a floating slot. So let's say I wanted a little bit more range on radial disarm, I could go ahead and do that to kind of counteract some of the narrow-minded, but legitimately this is mainly built on stealth. So I'll either use hushed invisibility, or if I am doing a rescue mission, I'll actually put on safeguard switch. So I'll go ahead and safeguard my rescue target, and then they'll be like invincible for like 12 seconds, and I'm all good with that. That makes me all kinds of happy. Next one is of course the overextended radial disarm build. This is kind of like more of a team thing whenever I'm like trying to go into a defense, or whether I'm trying to go into a mobile defense, anything where you just have to keep something alive and you've got other teammates there with you. Now, the last build, as you guys know, is my mixed build, which is half radiating disarm, half invisibility, and this is kind of like my this is what I call like my pubby build. Same thing you guys know is like Oberon has kind of become my go-to for like public missions. That is kind of like my pubby build for Loki, because you never know what you're gonna run into. And you guys know that I use public missions a lot, so we're gonna be running with that today. Now, the weapons that I actually go for a lot, if you've seen this is like the love of my life. I don't know why, but I've really just been into burst fire weapons for some reason or another. And you know that the HEMA is my absolute favorite for that. As you can see right now, I'm using I'm using corrosive on this, because it's got viral built in automatically, which all of a sudden, you know, half enemy health, and then of course you've got corrosive, and this thing procs 86% of the time. This is literally just me ripping off coal. It's just all burps, and there's purple, so it's just coal. But yeah, so we've got viral heat and corrosive going on in there to kind of just like, you know, be able to strip down the armor and then get them half their health and have a little bit of that fire. Well, really the fire is only there because I have like a ribbon for it. That's just what it is. But this is definitely one of my favorites for the HEMA. The HEMA just makes my life happy. But on the other end of the spectrum, one of my big go-tos, and here's the thing about this one, it just feels right. I have a great ribbon for the Dread that actually helps it bypass armor amazingly. I've recently fallen in love with the Severus Prime. I really love that a lot. But if we were talking about the things that I go to a lot, I love me some Rock de Cerdos. I love me some Rock de Cerdos. Of course, I have a ribbon for it because that's just how we roll here. But legitimately, I just love the fact that it fires so quickly that you can kind of, it's kind of like, it's decently balanced, and that's what I like about it. It's because of the fact that, it's like, you know, when you use bows and stuff like that, it's a little bit hard because sometimes you have to deal with a crowd. And because of the fact that the Rock de Cernos fires so quickly, you can still charge up the bow fairly fast and take down a bunch of targets at once, and then put a couple extra arrows into something big and be able to knock it out. I'm like, I can fire an extra arrow and it does not feel so bad because the charge up time is just not that long at all. I think I'm gonna go with, let's go with the Rock de Cernos. Now, y'all know I fought for this one to all high heavens. And this is my Euphona Prime with the unicorn ribbon. I think that there's like a big thing that we've got over here. So we've got multi-shot, critical damage, and status chance that pushes this into the 100% mark for status on its buckshot. And then of course we have the slug going on for its primary, and we've got a little bit of critical damage and multi-shot that kind of helps push that through too. So I fell in love with the Euphona Prime. I love the concept of having these two very different fire modes and then having a ribbon that helps you bridge those two fire modes together. I love it, I love it, I love it. But if I wasn't going to use the Euphona Prime, let's say if I was using the Hema, I would use the Hema and then I would probably use the Euphona Prime. But if I was using the Rock de Ceranos, we gotta throw it back. We gotta throw it back to the original, like, crit status build, like, OG, and that would be the Stiletto Prime. Like, this thing has seen me through so many things that it's absolutely insane. Like, this is my go-to, if I want to take it into higher levels, because of the fact that, and I know there's going to be people that cry over, you should use carrier. No, I don't touch sentinels. I'm sorry, that's just not my thing. I don't like it. I don't like them. If you like them, fantastic, use them. Me, personally, no, I don't like them. I find them useless. But anyway, the Prime Pistol Ammo Mutation basically means that if I'm going to solo, like on Loki, let's pretend I'm doing that, and I don't have any other form of armor shred, I'll usually either have, I'll usually have a kitty, but at the same time, I can use this to basically shred through enemy armor throughout like the first fucking 30 minutes of an entire mission and not worry about going low on ammo. I can't talk because the sore in my mouth. No, I haven't been doing anything dirty, which upsets me even more. I'm like, oh, why? Now, this last spot, which is my go-to melees, very, very, very difficult. This one is a hard one because there's so many really, really good ones. Legion is definitely one of my go-tos, and I wanted to show you a couple different builds for it. So this is my primary build. This is just the build that I use. Condition overload, life strike, different contact, just the status, slashing, bypass, all that kind of stuff. So just in case you guys don't know. So I have Vicious Frost on this. However, whenever it procs a status, it'll actually give you a boost to its attack speed, and on top of that, it'll have an innate toxin that's built into it. So it secretes toxin, the toxin will combine with the cold, and it will make viral damage. So just putting that out into the universe, just so you know, you can also get rid of Buzzkill, and you can put on viral, whatever the hell you want to do with your life. This is a different variation which uses crits and Maiming Strike. Now, as you guys know, I'm not a biggest fan of Maiming Strike, but the shit gets the job done. Like, you Maiming Strike, some Blood Rush in there, some Drifting Contact, you get a little bit, the whole theme here is like status, crit, just coming together and making a baby. Because here's the thing, a lot of people are like, see, status is king, or, oh no, crit is king. No, it's both. You got, if you could have both, take both. Because with status, you're either being given the ability to bypass armor, or you're being given the ability to shred through it. Now, if you have crit attached to that, you can wear down that armor and you can deal a shit ton of damage with that crit. Because once you've exposed their weaknesses, the crit comes in and starts punching. Because the status is like, I'm gonna wear you down. I'm gonna wear you down. The crit is like, pow, 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 pow. So you get a little bit of bonus from both. You can have a nice 1-2 punch. Another one that is one of my go-tos, and it's not my go-to by choice, but it's my go-to because it works, which is the Atarax. I use the Atarax because it's just the Atarax, and you combine it with Loki, and he just deals a shit ton of damage, and there's the stealth multipliers and all that hullabaloo. It's great. It does what it does. I think what I've got right now is just a purely slash focus build. You can also do slash and viral if you really, really want to, but this is just kind of what I'm running with right now, just so that you're aware, so that you know what's going on with all that. But yeah, so this is one of the things that I run with. Works really, really well with stealth frames. Toss this on an, oh dear lord, sweet baby Jesus, toss this on Octavia too. Ugh, so good. Alright? And then my last, this is my makes me feel good weapon. And I know you guys are probably like, what? I have a makes me feel good weapon, okay? And that would be, where are you, baby? It just looks too nice. I'm gonna give you a second to think about what I just said and what it could possibly be. But there you are. It's the Destreza. The Destreza is just gorgeous. You can do slash viral status on it. It just does a whole but I know people are like really, you want to use viral on this thing? It gets the job done. Alright, gets the job done. I've shown it in a video, I don't want to talk about it, but you know, this is just what I like. Okay, I'm putting that out into the universe. And it's pretty, and it's nice, and you can't fault me for wanting to play with a pretty weapon. Is there something so wrong with that? Is there something so absolutely wrong with that? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, except for the fact that trying to color this is giving me a little bit of a brain moment here. So I think I'm gonna grab this. I think I'm gonna grab this. We'll run with this real quick. And we'll kind of just have a chat, because I'm really curious. I know that these are my go-tos, so I don't really know what everybody else's go-tos are. Like, I'm really curious to see if there are any weird go-tos, and if you have any go-tos for very specific things. Like, one of my biggest go-tos that is very, very strange. Well, it's not strange, but man, whenever they chuck you into a motherfucking Lua spy, it's always Avara, because I don't have time for that shit. I do not have time for that shit, not even in the least bit. Let's go ahead and do this real quick. Yeah, I don't have time to like really stress over trying to do Lua spy with anybody else. Just that what is it called? Infiltration. Infiltration on its own is just like more than enough reason for me to fucking use her for that, because I don't really want to deal with any of the traps or any of the annoying shit that they've got out there. I forgot what I was actually wielding. This might be completely inappropriate for this for this Kuva Flood, but we'll find out very soon, won't we? Now as I was kind of saying earlier, was the fact that I've actually adopted Oberon as kind of like my go-to for pubs and what is it called? My go-to for pubs and, yeah, I think just basically pubs and streams. Like, whenever I'm on a stream, I really like having Oberon around, just because you don't know what you're gonna run into, and you don't know if the people you're playing with are crap. And yes, I love you, everybody on stream, but sometimes y'all be pulling some weird shit, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What am I walking into today? What comp is this gonna be? What? I'm still. How does this work? How is this working? What's going on? Is this magic Octavia music that's keeping me invisible? What happened there? I'm not sure. Regardless, we're gonna pretend that didn't happen. We're not gonna mention that to DE whatsoever. Listen, rule number 1 of the Loki Master Race is you don't talk about the Loki Master Race. Can you go away, please? Did you just kill my cat? Did you just kill my cat? You jerkbag. Oh shit. But yeah, that is kind of like one of my big things. I always have like go-tos, like for Kayla Dethame, the Kayla Dethame fight. I found out really bad on one of my streams. On one of my streams, I brought myself fucking, what is her name? Valkyrie on the Kayla Dethame fight, but I believe it was a pistol only. I believe it was like a pistol only fight, and I didn't realize the fact that, oh shit, Valkyrie in a pistol only mission does not really work as well as you would hope it does. And so I felt really like bad for it. Where is it sucking anything? Is there any sucking going on? No, I don't think there is. I think I'm crazy. Okay, this is one of the things that also kind of freaked. Now it's sucking. Alright, I'll be honest, I haven't played in the Kuva Flood for a long while, but I do need to get back into it, mainly because, like I said, I was getting into the Cerberus stuff, and Cerberus Prime, I want to get a good Riven mod for Cerberus Prime. I might be trying to find my own kind of, what's the word called? My own kind of, what is it? My own kind of unicorn for the Cerberus mod, for the Cerberus Prime, mainly because of the fact that I really want to get a punch through. Like something with punch through and like critical damage for it, because I think that would be super sexy. Because good job, team. Wait. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to go for when it comes to Kuva stuff. Mainly because of the fact that like, not Kuva stuff, for the Cerberus Prime, and that's mainly because of the fact that like I feel like its fire rate is fine, like with the increase in fire rate, so I don't necessarily want to like give a whole spot just to I don't necessarily want to give a whole spot just to, what is it called? Did I get it? Yes! I didn't want to necessarily give a whole spot to Shred in my build, so part of me is like, ooh, but if I can have punch through and like, critical damage or base damage or like critical chance, like I would really be into that. So that kind of part of me is, definitely looking for that unicorn. Maybe that'll be like the next unicorn series. I don't know how likely that is. I'm not, and the thing that's great about it is that I don't necessarily feel like it is 100% necessary to get the exact mix, just as long as it's close. Like, you know, we could get critical damage, we could get base damage, we could get multi-shot, whatever it is that we really want to get on it. But really, I just want to get punch through. I really just want to get a little bit of punch through and something special to go with it. Like a punch through version, like a critical version of Shred. Something along those lines. Maybe even status, but I'd rather have like the full frontal damage when it comes to the Cerberus. I don't know why. That's just me personally. But yeah, and I think that could definitely be one of my go-tos too. One of the interesting things that I've noticed is that all of my go-tos for primaries are not, what is the word called? Are not automatics. So that's kind of like one of the things that I'm wondering. I'm like, are you guys more comfortable with using automatics? Do a lot of you guys like that? Because for me, I've been really into burst fires, and I do not know why. I don't know why I'm so into burst fire weapons, but I definitely got into what is it called? I definitely got into the Hema. What was the other one? I really got into the Parasist after that. What else did I get into? I got into something else that I was really super fond of. But it was another burst fire weapon, and I've always had a soft spot in my heart for their burst on prime too. So part of me is kind of like, I don't know, maybe burst fire is just in my blood, but I know for a fact that just go in the hole, just go in the hole, just go in the hole. Yes. Usually I'm not that good at finding the hole. Oh, he stood in my way. He stood in my way. Good. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We are fine. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything? And let me know too what you think about melee weapons when it comes to go-tos, because I just find that with melee weapons there are a ton of go-to melee weapons. There's a ton of weapons that I just think are really powerful with the right build. So for me, it's kind of like melee weapons was a little bit hard to pick through, because legitimately you could pick up a lot of melee weapons and just have them work really well in high end. I mean, even the Sylvan Aegis. Like that one's even a really good weapon. You just kind of have to be into the stances, and maybe that's what it is when it comes to melee weapons, is that I'm more focused on what I think will be fun stances, and that's why I like the Distress as much as I do. I also really like the Galatine Prime. That one's really a lot of fun, but I think that's mainly because how do I put this? I think that's mainly because I have an affinity for it, because I used to play it a lot in the past. Like, you know, it's kind of like I love the Galatine because it was nostalgic. And let me know too, because I feel kind of like the same thing with the Axolotl Prime. Like, it's just been around for ages and it does a really good job. Same thing for the Rock de Cernos. Now that I think about it, a lot of my weapons that are go-tos are like nostalgia based. The only thing that's really new is the Euphona Prime, which feels very much like the Merlock, if we're gonna be honest with you. That fire, what is it called? The fire animation is very similar to the Merlock. So let me know what your go-tos are. Is there anything that you love that is like a go-to for you that everybody just looks at you crazy for? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. And that about does it for this episode. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body in a really comfortable chair. It's mesh. I didn't think I was gonna like it. Like, legitimately, I sat down in the chair and I was like, oh, I like this. And I like judged all of the other chairs based off of this one chair. The only thing that I don't like about it is it's harder for me to sit Indian style in the chair, and it leaves like mesh marks on my legs when I do. Let me know. Is that something, do you guys sit in Indian style in your chairs too? I literally did not put the arms in on the chair because I wanted to be able to sit Indian style. Anyway, you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.